Hello, my name is Victor Gonzalez, and I'm currently a student at Cal State Fullerton, California. I'm a music major here. I'm doing my music ed credential, which is why I'm making this video. But it's also interesting because I've been playing saxophone for years and I've never decided to make this type of content on how to produce your first sounds on the saxophone. I'm taking a Woodwind Methods class, and this is some of the final assignments that we need to do for this class, and I decided to put this out to the public for other people to see. So it'll be interesting to see my different types of methods, or what I've learned, and apply them to basically my show and tell on how to make your first sounds on the saxophone. So no further ado, let's go ahead and do that. So when you first get a saxophone, it's going to have a case. It's always going to be in some sort of case. This one has a zipper, but others have latches and different types of ways. You can open them up with a key and all sorts of things. This particular one has a zipper. No matter what, you're going to want to open up your saxophone case, in which it won't fall out. Everything will fall out. Usually it's indicated by some kind of thing that's on the top, or the latches are going up. You're not going to want to open the case upside down, because otherwise your stuff's going to all fall out everywhere. We don't want that. So let's go ahead and open up the case and see what type of things are in our saxophone case. The first thing we see in our saxophone case is our saxophone. And usually there's pockets right here or around somewhere for your neck and your mouthpiece. This case in particular doesn't have it, and it has extra pouches on the side and on the bottom. You can open these cases up, and this will hold your neck strap and your neck and your mouthpiece. Usually your mouthpieces come with a mouthpiece cap. Some other saxophone cases I've seen have different little compartments for reeds, and other swabs, cleaning kits, usually within here, but this particular case does not. Now that you have all your accessories, I'm going to teach you how to put the reed on the mouthpiece, and how to put the mouthpiece on the neck, and how to put that entire assembly on your saxophone. So first things first, you're going to want to have your reed. This reed is probably in some kind of plastic encasing like this. Go ahead and take it out and go ahead and soak the reed. The reed, if it's new, it might taste a little weird, but just soak it thoroughly and kind of, get it wet with saliva. Next is your mouthpiece. This is your ligature. Your ligature is what holds the reed to the mouthpiece. And you're going to want to put the reed a little flat, and you're going to want to line the tip of the reed at the top with the tip of the mouthpiece. You're going to want to give it a little bit of leeway so you can see the black of the mouthpiece on the tip. It's going to look a little bit like this. Took me a second to get it, but see how you can see a little bit of the black on the top of the mouthpiece. You're going to want to then put your ligature carefully over the mouthpiece. You can loosen the ligature a little bit, and these little tighteners are going to go always on the right side of the mouthpiece, so it will always be on your right side. Doing this is probably going to shake up the reed a little bit, so just go ahead and adjust it again. The correct position you should have your reed should look a little bit like that. You can see a little bit of the light going through, and if you're shining a light over it, and you can see the tip of the mouthpiece a little bit. Now that you have your mouthpiece correctly sealed and the reed is positioned correctly, as well as your ligature on the right side, you're going to want to get your neck. And your neck, pretty much, you just put the mouthpiece on here and make sure that you just hold it very tight, like loosely. Don't grab the neck. For alto, it's a little bit easier to just put your hands around it. For tenor, this is actually not a very good thing because it has more of an arch around it, and you can actually bend the metal with the pressure that you're putting on the cork. So you just want to get the cork and the mouthpiece and just twist, 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 and then you pretty much have your mouthpiece on your neck. There's methods of checking if your reed is on correctly. Either way, you're going to find out with your the way that you sound, or you can't get any sound out of it at all. It's either too high or too low. But one good way to check is if it's suctioned correctly. Basically, what I'm saying is that the way the reed works with the mouthpiece is that the reed is just vibrating against the tip of the mouthpiece. If you can see that I've just pushed the reed and it hits the tip of the mouthpiece. That's the importance of putting your reed to the tip. So they're pretty much aligned, almost aligned. You can check if this is working properly, if it's sealed properly. So quick little trick you can do is that you can get the mouthpiece and form your embouchure. And how you form your embouchure is that you're going to want to get your lips and put your lip a little bit in, so you can get your finger, put it in, and you're gonna have your lip rolled in, and then so you're not putting your lip out, rolled in, and then you can just put your two teeth on your nail, like that. So when you put your two teeth on your nail and you have your lip flat, you can then enclose the rest of your mouth around your finger. So make sure that when you do enclose, it's not so much tightening it, but just firming around, putting a firm suction around your finger. Then try to blow. If there's air seeping out, that means you need to just put a little bit tighter. Then I showed you what happens if I don't put my lips as tight. Pretty much just put that on the mouthpiece. It's going to sound a little funny because there's not a lot of room for the tone to speak. But you can form your embouchure that way. And with that same embouchure, you can check if your reed is sealed correctly. So get your hand, and you put your mouthpiece on your palm. And then you use your embouchure and you suck air in. And pretty much what that does is that it seals the reed to the tip of the mouthpiece, and it will trap the air. And then when you release your palm from the mouthpiece, the air will escape and create a pop. It's a quick little trick you can do. Some reeds are a little bit stronger than others, so I'll probably have a lot harder time with this. But it's a good indication that your reed is sealed correctly. Now you're going to want to get your saxophone and pretty much put the neck on the saxophone. You also have to check at the same time, same thing with tenor, same thing with bari. Be careful. Make sure that this little tightener is loose. If you try to jam it in while it's tight, you're just rubbing it against metal, and it's not good for your horn. You're gonna want to safely just like you're putting on your mouthpiece, just twist it, and then make sure that it's aligned with your thumb, and go ahead and tighten it. Now that you have your saxophone assembled, you're gonna want to put your neck strap on, and you can. Generally, a good habit to have is always to have your neck strap on first, but with the order I'm doing it. But have your neck strap always on you, and go ahead and just put it through this little neck strap hole. It's right, should be a little bit under your A sharp key. Now that you have your saxophone fully assembled, we can start making our first sounds. With that concept that I showed you guys on how to know if your mouthpiece is sealed, we're going to use that same exact concept here. Get your finger, go like this. Your bottom lip is going to be flat. Your two teeth on the top are going to be on your nail. And now you're pretty much just going to seal around it. You just put both of these lips together and kind of focus your lip muscles or your embouchure to the center. You're going to use the same concept with the mouthpiece. I initiated my embouchure at that last moment, And now I would be ready to blow the air through my instrument. At this point, there's a concept called articulation, and pretty much just starting sound with your tongue. The concept of articulation is very broad and it comes in many shapes and forms. For saxophone, it's not as bad as others. Your tongue is pretty much just going to act as a starting point for the sound, and you're going to use your air to initiate it. There's two different forms, I would say. There's an air attack and there's a tongue attack. Your air attack pretty much sounds like this. Your tongue attack is just using your tongue to start the note. And that way, my pitch is a little bit more controlled, and the airflow seems a little bit more better because it's initiated right away. There's held up pressure from behind my tongue, and it's being shot into the mouthpiece. From when I use an air articulation, there's not much support behind it. You can practice this concept with just your mouthpiece or the mouthpiece and your neck, and just practice just starting the air with an air attack, and then try starting it with a tongue attack, and just go from one of the two. Start with the air attack, then the tongue attack, air attack, then tongue attack. Just do that over and over again and see what you find is comfortable for you. But I would recommend that you keep using the tongue attack because it's going to help you develop your sound a little bit more and help you understand this concept of tonguing. With articulation comes tongue placement and positioning. You can think of tongue placement and positioning as a list of syllables, and you're going to hear this all throughout your music career as you're learning your instrument. So, music syllables are pretty much just syllables like vowels. A, E, I, O, U. A is where your tongue would sit at the highest point. U or oo would probably be at the lowest point. I'm saying probably because everybody's mouths and tongues are different. With this concept, you can pretty much just break down just where your tongue should be, and I would say that it should be at I or U. A, E, I, O, U. And you can just pretty much just be in between that spectrum. For clarinetists and flutes, more on the E side. And this concept could go and bounce around all different types of instruments. When it comes to starting and articulating this with your vowels, you're going to want to get more of the tip of your tongue to hit more of the tip of the reed, but not directly at the tip. You're going to want to get your tongue and hit more of this part of the reed, just below the tip. And you're going to get your tongue, and it should hit more of this area. I'll show you. I'm going to get a little closer to the camera so you can see the inside of my mouth. So, now that you observed what my tongue is doing, it's not hitting the tip of the reed like this. The tongue is pretty much just acting as a little bit of a point near the heart of the reed. Not down here, but more a little bit below the tip. That is the best way I can describe how you should start your sound. We can't really go inside our mouths and just show you exactly what is happening, but that is the best way that you can go and further on with your sound, your tone, and your pitch, and you can fix all those things with this little basic concept of this fundamental. Now that you have your mouthpiece on your saxophone, you can now start making sounds. Hopefully this video was really helpful to you guys or anybody that wanted to start playing saxophone, beginner, middle school, or elementary school, or even just people that just want to have a hobby. This video was really fun to do, and I hope that my concepts carry on later, and that all the knowledge I've learned along the years does just give you that little bit push forward into your journey with the saxophone. Thank you.